Hey guys, Nubkeks here and welcome back to Heroes of the Storm. In today's video we're going to be playing some Valla in Hero League here on Infernal Shrines, and we are going to be playing against the new Alarak. So I'm going to be talking all about that. I will probably try to get an Alarak video out to you guys fairly soon as well. Fortunately I'm not very good at Alarak, so it'll take a bit of practice before I can bring you one that's worth showing. But this will kind of do in the meantime. Fighting against him, we can still get insights into how he works. And he is, in my opinion, one of the scariest heroes in the game right now. He'd be my personal #1 ban on most maps and in most circumstances. We are going to be the first pick here. I was kind of considering what I wanted to do, what I wanted to do a video on. I decided in the end, you know, I'd probably do a video on Valla. I think this is day 1 of the Diva patch. I'm trying to get a Diva video on Infernal Shrines at the moment. Pity I didn't do it in this game. But oh well, what can you do? We banned out Gul'dan, and the enemy team bans out Alarak. I think Gul'dan is a good, fine ban on this map. The one thing I would say about Gul'dan at the moment, I think Gul'dan still is really good. I think there's a lot of heroes that fulfill the same sort of niche, the same sort of role that can work so well here. I mean, there's Gul'dan, but there's also Valla, very similar in how she plays in a lot of ways. Probius as well. Like there's actually quite a few heroes. That's the thing about the Gul'dan ban, is there's other heroes you can pick up that fit into that slot, that kind of function in a relatively similar manner. So yeah, just sort of interesting thought that I've had about the Gul'dan bans. Are pretty common. That being said, I mean, he still does loads of AoE damage and all that sort of stuff. The enemy team is going to grab Sonya, and there is the Alarak. So we were hoping to get the Alarak ourselves, but they take it away, and they're going to run Alarak Sonya. They're running a very heavy, very heavy front line here with the Sonya and the Alarak. We'll see what else they pick up. Presumably another warrior at the front with a bit more CC. I could probably get away, honestly, with Sonya, Alarak if they spec Sonya pretty tanky, but we'll see what they do. I like the Rag pick for us a lot. Rag is gonna wreak havoc on the front lines with his Q builds, particularly later in the game. And of course, Molten Core is just insanely strong in Infernal Shrines. It's so effective. And then we're actually gonna go a bit crazy and we're gonna grab the Azmodan pick. So going for some of those dunks, dunking on the shrines can be okay. And then the split push value of Azmodan during those shrine phases, hopefully destroying some of the structures in the side lanes. It's interesting. He's interesting on this map, Asmo. I think he's not too bad, to be honest. You know, he's sort of similar to Kael'thas. You know, Kael'thas throws the flame strikes on the shrines. Asmo throws the dunks. But there tends to be a lot of Merc camps split pushing on this map. So Azmodan could actually work decently well in that sense. So we shall see. So our teammate here wants to play Diablo. Our teammate's calling for a Muradin. I actually much prefer the Muradin, the Diablo to the Muradin myself. I think Diablo will be better. I don't think we need Muradin. So I'm just saying, like, okay, whatever, man, whatever. Like, we certainly don't, like that's the thing. Diablo's got plenty of stunts. Diablo's got loads of stunts. He's stun mad. I mean, the Skullcracker with Muradin is decent against Sonya, stop her Whirlwind. Though, like I just did a Sonya video recently, she's not focused as much on the Whirlwind build anymore. Anyway, the enemy team takes the Muradin, so that's that idea gone. Muradin's okay for them. I think he's okay. You know, they've got a decent amount. They're going to be low on range damage. That's the big thing for the enemy team. They don't have much of that at all. So we're going to be able to work around that. They only have Sylvanas, which isn't all that much. They got a lot of front line. They got quite a lot of CC and kill pressure. Ragnaros will hopefully be able to survive through some of that. At least he can get armor from being stunned, which will help him survive at the front. And Diablo will be very tanky. His spell armor at level 7 is going to be very effective here against the Sylvanas, against the Muradin. Very effective against Alarak, and even effective against Sonya and Rhaegar. Against all of them, really. So Diablo should be fairly safe in the front line. Rhaegar is another sort of frontline support for them, so Apocalypse should get pretty good value. I like the Mal for us, and it's a pretty interesting draft. I think both teams have got a decent draft, interesting things going for each one. So we'll see how this goes when we get into the game. Alright guys, and here we are in the game going into Infernal Shrines. So on this map, this is a W build map for Valla. Every single time. We're going into the multi-shot at levels 4 and 7. So at level 1 we're going to grab Hot pursuit. So when we're at 10 stacks, we are going to get an extra 10% movement speed over what we would normally have. And then we're going to start regenerating 4 mana per second as well. So that should be pretty nice while fighting over the shrines. There's typically a lot of stuff to shoot. There's the minion waves passing nearby. There's of course the monsters on the shrine itself and enemy heroes. So we should hopefully be able to maintain a hot pursuit fairly decently during those phases, and that extra mana regen is really going to help us out in terms of keeping the harass and keeping the fight and the poke going. It's also going to work very nicely with our multi-shot toms, which we're going to grab, because we're going to want to be throwing out plenty of multi-shots throughout these fights. So just kind of looking and poking here. Decent stun by the Muradin. We get a decent enough follow-up ourselves. I'm just trying to be very cautious. You can see that Rag is up top, which is why we're being pretty safe here. We're not taking any major risks. We're just going to clear this out as much as we can. Our wave clear will scale up very nicely in the game. At level 1, it's decent, but it's not going to be as good as it will be later. But once Asmodan gets stacks, once we grab our multi-shot quests, we're going to have a much better time of it. We couldn't actually rotate towards the bottom. Like normally you're going to rotate between mid and bot on this map, but we couldn't actually do that. And see, I'm trying to be fairly cautious here because I'm worried about the Alarak gank. I actually missed my Q right past that Rhaegar, which is a pretty silly mistake. But yeah, we see Alarak is up top. He actually just went up and killed Rag. But yeah, we have to be very careful of him. This new Alarak is quite scary. I think one of the big things about the new Alarak as well is that he tends to be... He's more focused on the 4-man rotation than on the solo lane, because the way his quests work, at least the kind of current builds people are running. So that definitely adds a new flavor to the hero. Decent combo by Alarak, does catch the mouth. Luckily it didn't hit us fully as well. That would have hurt quite a bit if it did. Sonya killing Diablo. Everyone's dying in the top lane. So we are pretty far behind at this stage. Enemy team about to hit level 4 for the shrine. So we're going to be a level and a talent tier down. So our chances of contesting this are pretty low. We're just checking the progress of the quests talents for our teammates there, looking at that. I'm just going to poke around here a little bit. See, we're going to try, obviously split away, not going to be standing too close to the Asmodan so that Alarak can't combo both of us at once. The best sort of strategy that we can use. And we've got level 4 now. We're going to grab Punishment at level 4. So this will increase the damage of our multi-shot by 4% for each hatred stack, which is fantastic. That's up to 40% more damage on our multi-shot. Going to get tons of value over these shrines. Going to be really useful overall. We actually got stunned there. Luckily, again, I think we would have died if the Alarak thing hit us. This was one of the first games I played against him, and really in this game was learning to respect that Alarak and make a few mistakes in this one. But like, he just hit so hard. This is a big mistake, by the way. So this Molten Core pop is just not advisable. We did the video very recently on Ragnaros. Ouch. Where I was playing on Infernal Shrines. So with Molten Core is great for contesting shrines, but it's also great for defending, and you have to make that decision. It depends on how close you are in terms of the shrines. Like if it's even, or even if you're ahead but you're going to be falling a little bit behind, you can use it to secure the shrine. You absolutely don't want to use it like the way we just used it right there, which was to like we were gonna lose the shrine. Like we were so far behind, and then he pops the Molten Core. So I was trying to work out who's spamming pings here because it's quite annoying. So I'm just gonna try mute as many people as possible. Don't really want to deal with spam pings when there's a Punisher pushing in. There's kind of more important things to concentrate on during that than on flaming each other with pings. So yeah, we're gonna step around the lasers as well on the ground as much as we can. Just absorb, just dodge that little bit of extra damage. Malf giving us back some mana to help us stay here. And yeah, just gonna turn off everyone's pings. Like, yeah, don't want anything to do with that. Thank you very much. Goodbye. We can turn them back on later if we want, but pings are only good if they're helpful. If they're not gonna be helpful pings, then there's no point, basically. Don't have FOMO, guys. Don't have FOMO. Just do what you gotta do to win. Anyway, that was actually pretty bad push for us. Like, I think if we had the Molten Core, we would have done much better. But you can see our middle fort is almost dead. We're a level behind. Definitely a rough early game so far. The enemy team getting a few kills and snowballing that lead pretty well. But we're going to hang on. We're going to keep going and see if we can't pull this back. Taking this Merc Camp should be a decent way to start. Going to help Diablo do that. Then we're going to swing back to this minion wave. We're going to see if we can't save the fort for what that's worth. Not really too much, but in some way, you know, it might even have been better there to let it die. It's one of those tough decisions, you know. If we can prevent them taking it before level 10, that's somewhat worthwhile because it will delay their level 10. At the same time, the forts give more XP the further the game goes, so it might be better not to do that. That's a good... Okay, well, who's late in the overpower? Anyway, that was a good charge by Diablo. Sonya getting spotted out and she was too low, so that's a nice free kill for us. He should have done the overpower straight away. We could have just blown up the Sonya, flipped her into the roots, and that would have been great. I think stealing that siege camp too would have been pretty nice. Oh, we've got Mule. Oh, we've got Mule. Oh no. Oh, okay. Ah, that explains. Okay. In that case, it was very worthwhile saving that fort, and that somewhat mitigates that first Punisher phase because that fort is going to be healed up. But yeah, no cleanse against Muradin, Sonya, Alarak. Ouch. Ouch. A start early is a good idea. We need to win this before the enemy team gets level 10. If they get level 10, we lose. Kind of simple as that. If we can get a big lead here at the start, it's going to be super effective because then we're going to be able to, you know, pop Molten Core and secure this Punisher. So that's definitely something we're trying to do. Again, the Molten Core pop is too early. You want to pop it around, you know, 20 or something. And we're able to vault forwards. Our basic attack chases Sylvanas during her Haunting Wave, and we actually pick up the kill with that. You can see right there, Sylvanas got caught out of position. It was a nice collapse by our team. Good CC on her. So we did use our vault to move forwards aggressively. Sonya as well as in the bottom lane. That's a pretty big mistake, trying to soak level 10. She should have been up here, up top sooner. So they'll get a decent enough push down bottom, but that secures this Punisher for us, which is great against the Sylvanas team. Always very useful to deny Punishers from a Sylvanas team or Immortals. Any pushing objective with Sylvanas, always worthwhile to deny. So we're going to start burning this stuff down now. You can see our team is split soaking the other lanes. We need to get level 10, and without level 10 we can't really push in too much. The Punisher is dead as we get level 10 effectively, so we're going to back off and grab the siege, the Bruiser camp. Ideally you want to time this with a split push, but there's nothing else for us to do on the map right now, so we might as well. You see, the top lane is too dangerous because the enemy team was there and it's pushed in. Rag pushed the mid lane in, Asmos pushed the bottom lane in. All the lanes are pushed, so we'd just be sitting around otherwise. So much as you'd like to take the Bruiser camp, you know, at the opportune time, it's better right now just for map control to take it. You can see the enemy team's done the exact same thing, but they didn't have the map control reason. But that's okay. It means they're going to cancel each other out, and we're going to be okay with that for the most part. But yeah, better to do something than to do nothing. I was hoping to juke the Stormbolt, kind of fail it. We hit him with the stun, but it's too late. Alarak jumps in and basically one-shots us. So that's a thing. That's a thing. That hurt quite a lot. That hurt quite a lot. So the Diablo is flaming us here, so we're just going to mute them. We're just like, yep, just mute more people. It's like, if you want to say something useless. Honestly, like, I defended his Diablo pick in draft. I'm like, I don't particularly appreciate him turning around and flaming me then. So I was like, well, you know, whatever. We're just going to turn off his chat then. It's fine. Don't need to hear his chat to be able to play. That's a good pick. That's very... Oh, okay. Pop the Avatar. It's worth it, though. Pop the Heroic for kind of no loss on our part. You get... We didn't actually quite stun the Muradin, but he dies anyway. We kill the Sonya, and that works out really nicely. It's a good engage. Good fight for us. And we're able to take couple of kills, which is going to be great. We should be able to push this fort down now. We're in a good position to do so, but everyone's kind of splitting across the map. I really think we would have been much better right there, pushing in. You know, with a two-person advantage, we would have been a lot better off pushing together and destroying that top fort, just taking one out so the next Punisher would push the keep. It's a small thing, but I think we would have been better. Anyway, yeah, you know, that time we got ganked by Alarak in mid, you could see like just how much damage he does. It's ridiculous. It's a pity we didn't have cleanse on the Malf. If Malf had been there with the cleanse, he probably could have saved us from the CC combo. Certainly, like, it would prevent the Alarak pulling us back in, but c'est la vie, c'est la vie. It's just something we're gonna have to deal with. Now we're super far ahead on this, so this should be an easy win on this Punisher. I mean, Rag can just solo it. We can throw in a multi-shot. There we go. Rag's popped his thing. Enemy team pretty much has to back off, and this is gonna be easy Punisher. I took Tempered by Discipline in this game, thinking it would be good to heal myself up. This is actually a mistake. I think it's Valla against Alarak. Well, I mean, on certain maps you go for Q build, and Siphoning Arrow would be good, but with this multi-shot build, I think Gloom is pretty much essential, and I actually think that would make Valla pretty good pick into Alarak. Just the flat 20 spell armor, 20% damage reduction on what Alarak does. That would have been the smart thing for me to go in this game. I think the Temper by Discipline was a mistake, and I was full of regrets afterwards. As I realized how much damage he does. Hey, first day of the patch when we played this, so learning experience. Won't make the same mistake in the future. Basically, won't make the same mistake in the future. It's pretty rough. That's a good combo by the Alarak. Rag is kind of stuck in there. Gonna try keep him alive as we back off. Murden engaging hard. We're gonna get, what's it, 3-man stun with a Rain of Vengeance. But Rag is gonna get taken out. Sony going in deep. Good silence by the Malf trying to keep him alive. Everything like that. But looks like, yeah, Diablo is gonna die as well, unfortunately. Some dunk stacks for Azmodan. At this point, again, the enemy team should get a pretty free push down on that bottom fort, so we're going to ignore it. We're just going to keep soaking the side waves, pushing those in, and just trying to draw some of their attention away. So you can see you swing up there. As the Diablo respawns, we're going to swing back, join in with him. So we're going to come here and we're going to defend as 4 on the fort. They're only getting the fort wall with the Diablo respawn, so that's good for us. And just, you know, a small advantage getting one of those extra mini waves. Nice work by Dibbles once again, securing the kill on the Muradin, who overextended a bit, and that works out nicely. I think they didn't take account of Diablo respawning so quick because of his souls. Bad news is Dibbles doesn't have many souls left, so he's going to be a bit more vulnerable on these fights for a while until he regenerates those. But yeah, that's kind of nice. They also, I think the enemy team probably missed a wave of XP that we pushed in towards the top too, which is good for us. Grab that regen globe for a bit more mana sustain. Looks like there's a big fight going on here as well. Our Alarak looks like he went in with Deadly Charge. Actually costs them Ancestral. Okay, no, he didn't go in with Deadly Charge. There's a Deadly Charge to run away, and he pushes us back too. Still worth it to get Ancestral out. That's going to be Ancestral down. There should be a Shrine soon. So they're probably going to have to fight a Shrine fight without that ability. With the stun onto the Rag, we have to fight this. He actually popped the Molten Core. This is, again, I think, a big mistake. So this is going to be... Oh, not a bad Sulfurous Smash, actually. Not bad. Does pop the Avatar in response to survive. But this means we're not going to have Sulfurous Smash for the Shrine phase, which I think we would much rather have. Diablo makes a bad decision to go back in. We're able to pick up the kill on Muradin though with one final base. We're getting very lucky with these final basic attacks flying really far and securing kills in this game. Very lucky. Just gonna poke a bit as you run away. I'm out of mana. Malf is pretty low too. At this stage I was thinking of Heartstoning, but actually we're gonna try fight this. It's gonna be difficult. We're down level 16, we grab it right now as the Shrine activates. Both teams down their main tank, which is kind of scary, and we're down Molten Core, which is also kind of scary, but they're down Ancestral, so maybe we could make it work. Level 16 went for Manticore, so every third basic attack against hero will do 5% of the max health. Should be pretty useful. I see I was asking Rag what the cooldown on Molten Core was. I think, though, we've got him muted, so I forgot that. So that's one of the downsides of muting people. You cannot hear them when they speak to you. I'm gonna poke the Alarak a little bit. We're very far behind on this Shrine though. Maybe we will be able to contest it. Diablo is back as well. We get stunned by Diablo, pulled in by the Alarak, and it's just a big combo as he hits that. And he jumps in with the Deadly Charge and does kill us. That's a mistake by me. Needed to wait for the Malf to heal us up. Kind of just derp that up. And it's the power of Alarak that you can see. It just destroyed us. It was just a very, very bad idea. I mean, we're getting a good split push down bottom. Should have been much more patient, backed off, and probably even let them take the Shrine. They were so far ahead. But yeah, it's definitely kind of silly. You can see, we went from 80% health. Alarak basically two-shot us. If you ignore the heal, so we got heal from Malf, right? Which the Alarak basic attack effectively cancelled out. Aside from that though, Deadly Charge plus 1 Alarak Q, that's us dead. Which is insane. Basically, it's insane. He's got Rite of Rexure. You can see I was checking out his talents and like, what the fuck is this new hero? What is this? It's just destroying us. Valla is very squishy, so that's one of her weaknesses. Gonna have Molten Core to defend, which is kind of nice. You get some free poke on the Punisher. You can kind of drive the enemy team away a little bit too. Clear out some of the waves at the same time. Yeah, needless to say, at this stage I was kind of going, I really should have picked Bloom. That 20 spell armor would have been pretty nice. Muradin gesturing forwards here, trying to kill us. Pretty scary. Need to be very careful of that. The Alarak has been on point following up the Muradin stuns, so we definitely need to be cautious as much as we can. Throw the stun behind in case we could interrupt the dwarf toss, mid-toss with the stun. Trying to stun Sonya there with the second one and we miss, which is kind of silly. Punisher's getting baited away, which is good. Sonya is gonna go down. Yep, once, and I'm telling you, Matt, we're getting so much luck with these basic attacks. Max range, finishing off kills. We get the Sonya. We're actually quite lucky that the Punisher got baited. Thought the thing was gonna die, did not. Alarak gets a nice silence off, but it's not enough to save him. He does go down. That's 3 kills for us, and this is a nice win, which we can start to pressure in. But yeah, the Punisher stun, resetting just as the fort keep was about to die is actually a huge deal. And especially with Mule. We probably should have prioritized saving the keep and killing the Punisher over chasing heroes. We got kind of lucky the keep lived, and given that we've got Mule, it's actually very valuable to keep that alive. So that is something that probably should have accounted for. Not used to playing with Mule, to say the least. Not often, not every day we see a Malfurion with Mule. Don't quite get the Rhaegar. Actually, maybe we do. Yeah, we do. Nice one. Good work by Asmodan. We fired our stun in the wrong direction. I think we might be able to kill the Muradin there. I wasn't sure how many stacks I had on Manticore on him if we'd proc the 5% max HP, but I figured it would be worthwhile to, vault in, hit him with our, fully empowered multi-shot and get that damage out. Oh, I don't think I mentioned level 7 though, pick up Arsenal, the multi-shot talent there. So it fires 3 grenades with multi-shot, do a little bit of damage, and they reduce the cooldown for every hero that gets hit by a grenade. Just extra AoE damage is pretty nice. Frost shots at 16 is pretty good too. In fact, not pretty good, it's very good, which increases the range of multi-shot by 20%, and it does 25% slow for a second and a half. You can see the enemy team rotating, so we're not able to actually take this, by the way. But Frost shots is really good. In this game, I said it's not worth it. I think Manticore is better, given that they've got a Sonya and they've got a Muradin. We want to have that focus fire on them. They're both quite resistant to CC, so I didn't really see the point. Alarak's gonna have Counter-Strike as well. So I said, you know what, the Manticore is going to be much more effective in this game. When those Muradin and Sonya dive in, we can focus them down and just drive them out again, and then kind of establish really good dominance in the team fight. Especially with Rag having the Q build as well. With Giant Scorcher at 16, he's going to be melting through their max HP at the same time, so it's going to be very difficult for them to actually frontline against the damage we've got, so we can use that to our advantage. Diablo's, by the way, got the wrong build. You can see it there in the shrine. He's got like the AoE damage. It sucks. You want to go for the Q build with resets in Diablo. It's so strong. So yeah, when I was saying the Diablo was a good pick, I assumed that was the build he was going to have. So we're poking in here a bit. Need to be fairly cautious, but the Alarak overextends. We're able to pick him off. We get him in a couple of stuns, and we're going to back off, stutter stepping as we go, getting those Manticore shots off. Sonya actually pops her Hardened Shield, so we're going to turn around and grab the well. During that, there's not much point in shooting her while she's got all that armor. Able to drive the enemy team back. They're super low, so we're able to vault forwards, hit the Sylvanas, actually misclick and basic attack something else, but luckily Asmodan finishes off that kill on her right before the Ancestral hits. That was almost Sylvana surviving though. We're going to grab ourselves a Punisher with this, and it's an open core, so we have a decent chance to be able to finish the game through the bot point at this stage. Sylvanas is going to be dead for a little while. Rag's actually going to take this siege camp. I don't think there's any point in this. I think we want to push bottom as hard and as quick as we can while the death timers are still ticking away. Just get that Punisher in on the core as quick as possible. Rag does have heroic difficulty, so he'll have a shorter cooldown on Molten Core. Our team is still focused, he's still very focused. I don't know, did I unmute the Ragnaros, or was he just not muted all along? I don't remember now. But anyway, we're able to put some decent damage on Sonya, just kind of force her back. At this point, you want to fight the heroes before you commit to the core oftentimes. We're going to get soloed out by Muradin rewind combo. Again, no cleanse, feels bad. No cleanse, feels bad. There you go. With the heroic difficulty, Rag will have Molten Core coming back up, and the Punisher's going to go down with the core. I mean, the Punisher's going to be on the core anyway. But yeah, you usually, if it's going to be a close race, or if the enemy is kind of fighting, if they're defending 4v5, it can oftentimes, it depends on comps of course, but it can oftentimes be better to just get some kills. If you kill like the enemy team, you're gonna win the game, simple as that. Whereas racing can be risky. It can be risky, but we do pull out the win anyway. As we watch on from death, sadly. Asmonan gets the MVP. He did a good job in this game. Not, you know, typically considered a good pick on Infernal Shrines, but I think it is actually quite nice. Give my teammates 3 stars for that. Like, they played well, but the communication stuff was pretty bad, so screw that. Yeah, you can see Diablo. He's got the couple of wrong talents, unfortunately, which makes the Diablo pick not as good. We got ourselves a loot box at the end, getting a Tracer skin. And yeah, there you go, guys. That is Valla, and that's what the new Alarak is like. He does so much damage. It's crazy. His burst damage is insane. And like I said, he's not so much a solo lane hero anymore because of the way his quests work. He tends to be roaming with the 4-man team, looking for kills. He's much more like Kerrigan, actually, in terms of where he fits in the draft. A lot more like Kerrigan. But yeah, pretty scary hero. You can see us using Rain of Vengeance on the Valla. It's a pretty good effect against their team comp, trying to kite backwards, poke down their front line as they're coming in, and then vaulting forwards when we've got the opportunity to secure a kill. And it worked out okay. Talent build is on the left-hand side. Fairly standard multi-shot build. Again, the big mistake in this game was I should have taken Gloom against the new Alarak to survive that burst combo. Did not realize that he could effectively 2-shot us, or 1-shot us even, with a single Q plus deadly charge combo, which is pretty terrifying. So Gloom would have been good against that. Cleanse would have helped some of the stuff as well, but you know, these things happen, And yeah, there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I will see you all next time for some more Heroes of the Storm. Bye bye.